Calf Kick Sports Podcast. We are back this week. We are covering all the major sports this weekend. I looked into it. The only sports that was happening this weekend was the sumo wrestling tournament out of Tokyo, which is the Grand Sumo Tournament. So Ash and I are back this week, and we will be covering everyone going on. If you were to pick your favorite Rikishi in history, Ash, I don't think any other sports were going on this weekend. Could you think of anything going on this weekend,
man,
Ash?
yeah. I mean, no football, no UFC, clearly. No disappointing results whatsoever.
It's just the sumo wrestling hour.
Exactly, it's just the sumo wrestling hour. But man, yeah, what a weekend. In all honesty, a little disappointing on my end, especially. But yeah, just a crazy one, man. I mean, how do we even dissect this? I don't even know how to get into it.
Dude, I actually want to jump into like you were in England watching England lose in a penalty shootout.
Oh man,
tell us a story here, man.
Well, look, here's the thing. Yeah, the first goal went in. By the way, I missed that first goal. So I came in a bit late. So I even missed that. You know, the amazing feeling that England fans get, when you're seeing a goal being scored, and it was just bananas. I mean, my cousin, he sent me the clip after. And yeah, it was really good atmosphere, really positive about the game. I was even hoping, we just take it 1-0. And Italy scored. It's just a wrap, isn't it, man? Goes to penalties. You already know that England's going to lose. So it was heartbreaking, man. But look, I won some money on Italy. I mean, that's the plus side of it. I played both sides. I didn't want to win the money, but at least I got something out of it. It's just the aftermath, man. It was disgusting, wasn't it? Crazy.
I know. And one of the nice things about working with you is that you are very open with your picks in that my heart is this. My bank account says this. You know, like I know that you picked, you said like my heart is it with Conor McGregor. That's what I'm picking. But in a much more real sense, I'm putting money on Dustin Poirier because I'm not.
I know. You know? And I won money on Dustin actually as well. Funnily enough, I did. So I put money on the two teams that I knew in my heart would probably win. Obviously, Dustin's not a team, but Dustin and Italy, I thought, that's a surefire bet, man, because I'm probably going to be very disappointed this weekend. And I wasn't wrong, Tim.
Man, but let's jump into the UFC 264 main event. There's so much to talk about here. The technical breakdown, the fight itself, like we got the fallout. Let's just jump right into the technical part in terms of Conor McGregor fought in the way that I think he listened to the podcast and his team said like, that is the right strategy. Because exactly what we said to do was what he did for the first 2 minutes of this fight and actually found some success with it as well. Do you want to walk us through a little bit?
Mate, literally, as we called it, like me, Amma, and you, we both got it spot on, man, with some of the stuff we said. We predicted that he would be throwing spin kicks to the body. Guess what he did? He threw a spin kick. The first kick he threw was a spinning back kick to the body. Just even going before that, because I think this is quite a cool thing to break down as well. He was stretching his legs for about 10 minutes, for 10 minutes, throwing hook kicks. You could clearly see he was fucking fired up, man. Like he was ready to take someone's head off with kicks. I think he wanted Dustin to know that, the kicks are coming, man. He wanted Dustin to back up immediately. And the first kick he threw, he did back up Dustin, temporarily. He backed him up with 2 really solid kicks. And the leg kicks, man, I was very surprised. And he wasn't going for calf kicks, particularly. He was kicking it around the knee, which I found quite interesting. He wasn't going for that calf kick. It was almost like he was just trying to debilitate or give Dustin a dead leg from the first 2 minutes. But
kicking kind of at the knee, which was an odd thing because we think of the greatest leg kickers in history is Ernesto Hoost, and Conor McGregor made all the mistakes that Ernesto Hoost in his classes always says you make sure you don't do these things, and Conor instead did those exact things, which was kind of you set up your kicks. Conor was just throwing them, and that's why he was probably hitting the knee, or they were getting the check where you pick up your leg is a legitimate check, even if it doesn't hit the kneecap kind of thing. But he was throwing them without setup and throwing them at full power. Like Ernesto Hoost knew that he would break his own leg if he did that, so he said you make sure you set him up. And he had TKO via leg kicks against Igor Vovchanchyn, but they were all set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely agree with you. He had some early success fucking Dustin's legs up at the beginning. Like he was hurting him, man, at the beginning. Like, and I think there was a momentary switch in stance of Dustin as well, from what I remember. Really, really temporary, but then he went back to southpaw. But I think because he was successful, he went to that well a little bit too much. And as you said, it started getting a bit more predictable. Dustin, he definitely checked one or two of those kicks, man, 100%. And the setup with the punches, that was quite good, you know, when he was setting up with punches, but then he just went straight into leg kick from way, way far out and got really predictable. What I was really, really shocked at is he actually lost the boxing exchanges to Dustin. So Dustin actually managed to get some power shots in. He got him with a nice right uppercut and he got him with a nice hook as well. And I think as soon as Conor tasted that power, he clinched up with them. He was like, "No, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to taste the Louisiana slugger, man. It's too much for me." Clinched up with them, and rest is history.
I'm glad that you mentioned the stance switch, because it was a really cool technical stance switch, because Conor threw the teep kick a few times to the right side of Dustin Poirier, which is his lead side. So he threw the teep. Dustin, this is like even by the 2-minute mark, we could kind of start seeing what Dustin had the read on him, right? So he threw the teep kick, Dustin switched stance. So now your teep kick misses because your opponent's lead side is now the rear side. Like, that's incredible stuff. That's so, like, man, I was thinking about this, of how far Dustin Poirier has come up, like losing to the Korean Zombie, you know, getting knocked out by Michael Johnson. He almost lost to Jim Miller, to doing stuff like a stance switch, to dodge a teep kick, to blocking a teep kick with his elbow. Like, he's done some really high level stuff. But yeah, like you said, he actually was getting the better of the exchanges. He was closing the distance against kicks using double jabs and rights, which was great, because if you close the distance on a kick against your opponent, they're on one leg. You can essentially just knock them over. And that's where he landed his best shots, being Dustin. And like you said, Conor got hit. Conor panicked and went for a clinch. And then kind of, I don't want to say kind of, but he went something that's a low fight IQ move, which is doing a jumping guillotine, because the current meta is you don't do a jumping guillotine because your opponent's probably good enough to escape. In the UFC, everyone's a black belt, okay? Everyone in the UFC is a black belt. They know how to get out of a guillotine. And then you've put your opponent in one of the best positions you could ever imagine them.
I mean, it's crazy, man. I'm really, really surprised he went for that guillotine. Like, look, there was a point in time where I was thinking he might actually get this, man. Not that it matters, because he's not counting submissions, of course. But I was thinking, like, he actually might get this, man. This looks tight, man. And you know, he jumped into that half butterfly guard, and I was thinking, man, he is confident, man. He's going to get this. And for a moment, I was thinking maybe he actually might do this, man. He might actually pull off a submission. But it's such a high risk maneuver. I mean, yeah, obviously it's a high reward. You can finish the fight, but such a high risk fight. And as soon as Dustin broke out of that, man, he started smashing him like Khabib. That was basically like Khabib in that third round with Conor, just smashing him on the ground. It was sad to see, man, because I was thinking, look, Conor he's not a big lightweight, man, at all. No. A lot of these lightweights seem stronger than him physically. What's your thoughts on the physicality of Conor at lightweight?
You could really see that Dustin Poirier was clearly bigger. Dustin's bigger than most lightweights. Like, it's not just his height. He's 5'9". He's really wide as well. He's got so much heart, and it requires a really big chest. But he's so wide and so strong. And when they leaned on each other in the clinch, like, you could very easily see that Dustin was getting the better in the clinch, controlling on the ground. And he landed more on the feet. He landed more on the ground. So Dustin landed 36 strikes. 35 of those were to the head. Conor landed 27 strikes, and 13 of those were to the head, and the rest were to the body and legs. Even at, like, Dustin was landing the better shots. He was controlling on the ground for the entire bout. And I don't know where this narrative came from. We're coming out of the fight. We're seeing a false narrative, which is cool if you're cutting a promo, but it's false in terms of, well, if we got to the second round, we'd see a different fight. Really, because in leading to this fight, every expert said he needs to win this first round, or else he's not going to win. He needs to win in the first round. And now we're saying, oh yeah, he would have picked up in the second and third. What are you talking about, guys?
Exactly, man. It's such a weird narrative, man. I mean, he was cutting a promo, like Rousey said, As soon as he hit the ground, man, this is not over. I was like, fucking hell, man. Like, you already, you got your leg broken, man. And you're going, this isn't over. Like, mate, it's over, man. You know, like Dustin's going to fight for the, he's going to fight for the title. Conor's going to come back in a year and he's not going to be the same person anymore. I mean, when have we ever seen someone come back from an injury like that and become a world champion? It's never happened. You've got Chris Weidman, you've got Anderson Silva. I mean, look, Chris Weidman's thing happened, but that isn't going to happen, man. He's not going to fight for the title. I think Anderson, we all know what happened with Anderson. I just don't see a future where Conor is holding that belt anymore. It's just the honest truth.
Man, it's rough. There's a lot I want to throw at you now. Like making the comeback, I really don't know, because so they wanted to promote the fourth fight, but we're going to have Dustin fight Oliveira for the title, and he probably wins the title, honestly. Mr. McGregor won't be back in the gym until almost January if he's recovering properly. So he's not fighting until mid next year, probably.
Yeah.
Who, looking at the
Tony Ferguson, mate. That's the only
there
fight.
You go.
You need look, firstly, that fight would do huge numbers.
Yeah, it would be fun too.
The trash talk would be hilarious, man. It would be so much trash talk. And on top of that, you know, Tony's at the end of his career. Conor, I think, admittedly, right now, I can't even say I'm a fan anymore after all that shit he pulled, man. It's ridiculous. Ouch. Yeah, man. I might have to revoke my Conor fan membership, man. It's officially revoked. But yeah, with Tony, that will be a great press conference. I think they will talk all kinds of trash against each other, and it's a winnable fight for both men as well. So I think that is a fight that Conor should take next. I don't think he will. I think he'll probably take RDA, which is a tougher fight in my opinion. But there's more drama in that, and it's probably more sellable in terms of pay-per-views. It's an interesting one, man. I mean, I don't think anyone in the division, I think everyone in the division in the top 10 could potentially beat Conor right now. And it's just facts.
Yeah, the mystique is kind of gone. The game plan is there a little bit more. And I mean, he might be able to beat RDA and Tony Ferguson, but those are fun fights because they are actually going to engage in trash talk. Whereas Beneil Dariush, Justin Gaethje, even Dan Hooker, they're not going to care about the trash talk. They're just going to get
no. Justin Gaethje will go dark, man. I mean,
that's true.
He
said some weird stuff.
He says like he's a piece of shit, like he's the worst father. Mate, that is going to go. That'll probably be one of the dark ones. Yeah,
that's right too. I forgot about that.
But you don't fight Justin Gaethje, man. You just snapped your ankle. Fuck that, man. You know?
I need a comeback fight. It's gonna be Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, it's gonna be Justin Gaethje. You know, it's all good. He's probably gonna snap my other ankle. Whatever.
No, honestly, that's a scary fight. I think RDA and Ferguson are probably the right moves. Those are potentially winnable fights for him as well, and it'll be fun lead up. RDA especially is a talented fighter, but both of them are on the other side of their career. But if Conor beats, the rules aren't the same for Mr. McGregor. If he beats a Tony Ferguson who's on a 3-fight slide right now, you could probably just give Conor the number one contender position. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, UFC?
You're not wrong at all, man. UFC, I mean, look, let's just remember, who gave CM Punk a chance at a professional MMA match up in the UFC.
On the pay-per-view. The main pay-per-view.
Against Mickey Gall, who's an animal, a Brazilian black belt, you know. It doesn't matter, man. If you're famous enough, you will get a fight in the UFC. Look, they gave James Toney a fucking fight in the UFC with no MMA experience. Conor, who's a former champion, 2 division weight champion, they're probably just going to give him another fight. At this point, I feel like they're just beating Conor like a piñata and making sure all the money comes out right now.
That's a great, yes, absolutely. He's just a piñata full of money, and Dustin Poirier is beating the hell out of him.
But Dustin Poirier is going to get another red panty night because why not, man? 4th fight with Conor, you know, he probably could win it as well a 4th time. Let's be honest.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
He's going to win a 4th time, man, for sure.
No, absolutely. And looking at the last 5 years, and you look at Dustin, he's probably going to beat Oliveira and then defend against Justin Gaethje. So looking at the last 5 years, he's fought 13
never say
opponents.
Never, Tim, man. Everyone's going on about Dustin smashing Oliveira. And look, I agree, he's the favorite, but I don't know, man. Oliveira is very, very good, man. Like, he's coming into his own as well. So we'll see.
He's a really technical style in terms of Muay Thai striking. He does a lot of it. He's he knows how to use long and rangy extremely well.
Yeah.
If it's a technical back and forth, Dustin probably wouldn't do well, because even Dan Hooker was able to pick him apart quite a bit. If Dustin needs to make it a dog fight, and it's a little bit scary, so you need to be fighting in that kind of mid zone where your opponent needs to be throwing at you, but you need to be within range, because you can't quite take this guy down. It's Charles Oliveira. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu, he's a 3rd degree black belt, and he's won jiu-jitsu competitions. Off his back, he's really, really good, right?
Yeah.
But you can't stand at range with him. You need to make it a tough, gritty fight. So yeah, Charles Oliveira does definitely have a good chance in that fight. But looking at their last, hyping a 4th fight doesn't get me excited anyway. Looking at the last 5 years, Conors fought 7 opponents of mixed success against mixed ranked, whereas Dustin has fought 13 opponents in 5 years. All of them were top 5 or former champions. Could you? And now he's going to fight another champion in Oliveira. Could you imagine fighting a champion every 6 months? He's just developed faster than Conor McGregor at this point. Yeah, it's so obvious, isn't it?
He's evolved so much more than Conor, and it's like what you said. You came up with a really good point. He learned from essentially being a bad fighter. I mean, I'm not saying he was a bad fighter. He was very much a brawler, and again, you get cracked by, sorry to mention him again, Akira Kurosani. Not to shit on him, he just isn't. He just isn't elite of the elite. And you're getting cracked by people like that. You're getting cracked a lot at featherweight, and then he moves up to lightweight. It's like, the durability is just another level, man. I don't know how Michael Johnson knocked them out, man. Doesn't that ever baffle you? How the hell you got knocked out by Michael? I mean, I know Michael Johnson's a beast, but it's still baffling.
See, Akira Kurosani, he was okay. Yeah. But Michael Johnson, we admit, he was super good. He was a really good fighter most of the time. He was an inconsistent fighter. I think he was in his head a lot, but he was very good. He was outstriking a lot of great fighters. But yeah, I know, I agree with you. And now we're looking at Dustin Poirier, maybe at lightweight is the 2nd best lightweight of all time if you just look at their resume acumen, right? Obviously not Khabib, but is he ahead of BJ Penn and Frankie Edgar and Benson Henderson? Maybe.
So for me, I personally think, this is just my opinion, I think RDA is my second. He's still my second, because remember, he's actually a lineal champion. He's the only one in the active lightweight division who has been a lineal champion as well as Conor. So he was a lineal champion. Took out Benson Henderson, took out Donald Cerrone when he was an animal. For me, I still think RDA is number 2. But here's the thing. If Dustin takes that title from Oliveira, he's a shoo-in for number 2, man. Easy. He'll definitely be number 2.
And put it into reference of getting knocked out by Michael Johnson and Akira Kurosani to being the 2nd greatest lightweight of all time. That's the UFC's most competitive division, and you have the 2nd best resume. What a career this kid has had.
I know, man. It's such a resurgence, and I almost find it like I almost wish that the Dustin and Conor fight was for the title the 2nd time round, because I mean, look, he's the deserving champion. I love Oliveira. I'm so glad he's got the belt and everything else. All the success to him, but beating Michael Chandler, who's only 1-0 in the UFC at that point, that doesn't warrant winning a title. So. It's exactly what Dustin said. It is fool's gold. But now we've got a legitimate belt on the line, because you've got Dustin, as you said, one of the best lightweights ever, probably leading up to the 2nd best lightweight of all time. And then you got Oliveira, man, who's the champ right now. So this is for the real belt this time, man. Oliveira versus Dustin.
Yeah, and even MMAfighting.com did their independent rankings, which put Dustin at number 1 and Oliveira at number 2. And honestly, yeah, if you take away the title and just look at resume and quality of opposition, Dustin Poirier does deserve that number 1 rank, and has for quite a while. And that's going to be a fun fight. That's 2 really nice guys. They're not going to trash talk each other at all. They are closer to martial artists, right? That's just kind of how it is. They're just 2 very respectful, very nice people. Both of them support their community in a big way, and it's going to be sad to see one of those guys lose. Both of them have worked really hard to get to this position. Oliveira's path to success has also been fairly similar to Poirier. I don't want to write it off in terms of he struggled to get wins. He was at a 50% win rate when he first entered the UFC. He had to get better, and he was losing kind of embarrassingly. We always talk about his heart's not there. If you put pressure on Oliveira, he fixed those flaws. He got cracked by Michael Chandler and came back. Look what a career this man has had. Oh man, get some of these guys like Dustin Poirier, Oliveira, Ngannou, just get goosebumps when I talk about.
I
these
know,
guys,
man. It's such a crazy story, man. And you got like, I mean, Dustin, that's already a success story in my head. I mean, even if he never wins the belt, you know, he's still gonna go down as one of the best lightweights of all time, in my opinion, anyway. You know, definitely better than, you know, no disrespect. I love BJ Penn, but at this moment in time, Dustin is a bigger legend than BJ Penn. And BJ Penn held the belt, and he's got the most title defenses. But in my mind, it doesn't matter, man. You're on such a huge winning streak, taking out like legends, man, and potential legends as well. So yeah, Dustin, man, I do feel like he's gonna beat Oliveira, but I wouldn't be surprised if Oliveira snatches it, honestly.
No, he's super good. He's super tricky. He knows like very technical. I like Oliveira a lot. But yeah, BJ Penn was really good. And it's odd to look back at those fights and see how small lightweight was.
Oh my God, man. It's crazy, isn't it? They look like bantamweights, man.
Really do.
Yeah. They look like bantamweights. So you got like Frankie Edgar, he was quite a small lightweight champion. And then you got other people like that are just a lot smaller, man, which is nuts at lightweight. So I don't know, man. It's a weird one, isn't it? Everyone's gotten so much bigger since the last 5-6 years.
So here's the thing. You think about Frankie Edgar, who is a bantamweight today.
Yeah.
How tall is he?
5'6".
He's the bantamweight today. He's 5'6" and was one of the better lightweight champions in UFC history. Could you imagine him versus, I don't know, Dustin Poirier or like a 6-foot Charles Oliveira? He's 5'6". He's a bantamweight, but he actually has a better, like, he has more defenses than Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier. He's a little guy. Yeah, that division was insane. It is the UFC's most competitive division.
Benson Henderson as well, man. He's not really. I mean, he's fairly big at lightweight, but you wouldn't say he's definitely not bigger than Dustin. Do you know what I mean? Like in terms of frame or weight. Even Oliveira is bigger than him. So yeah, Oliveira and Dustin, man, that's like two big boys, man, going at it. Like obviously Dustin's thicker and wider, but Oliveira's got a really good reach and frame, man. So
he uses it well. But yeah, so at this point, let's talk about the fallout. This kind of post-fight interview on the ground. Now, you and I did talk off air of we've never actually been there in terms of millions of people have never paid to watch me fight and then watch me break my leg.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
So doing an emotional interview with Joe Rogan in your face, and you and I were laughing about like how surreal this is. And then and you just kind of insult the man's family and threaten to kill him. And that's classless. That sucks. Don't do that.
It's so stupid.
And it's not interesting. It's not clever trash talk. Yeah. But I've also never been in that position.
He's like, your wife, she's dead. I'm like, mate, what is wrong with you, man? Like, it's over, bro. Like, it's like, what's wrong with you? I was disgusted though when I was listening to that. I'm like, I can't believe I supported this guy, man, to actually win this fight. I'm so glad. If I was Dustin, I would have gone in there and broke his fucking other ankle, man. I would have stepped on his ankle. I swear to God.
Well, it's one of the weird things. This is such a surreal thing, but your leg, and I kept writing about it. I've done 2 articles on it now, but like I kept writing about it. He kept trash talking him. He said, "Fuck him. Your leg is in a splint right now." And you're like, I'll meet you on the sidewalk outside. You cannot stand up. I don't know. This is weird.
This is not over. I'm like, what's wrong? What do you mean, man? It is over.
This is so weird.
It's so over.
But yeah. There is a level, and I was talking about it earlier today as well on a different show, where his trash talk wasn't clever. Like compared to, I'll talk about 2 guys. So Chael Sonnen, if you remember, everything he said was very insulting to Brazilian people. Like he called them animals. He said they didn't have computers. It was all tongue in cheek. Like Brazilians hate Conor McGregor more for what he said to Aldo, and because they understood that Chael Sonnen is playing a character, and he's actually quite clever and quite funny. If you remember, he said, I could walk into Anderson Silva's house, slap his wife on her bum, and then she'd make me a steak.
Yes.
Anderson Silva said, and you remember Anderson Silva after the fight, he said, you can come over for a steak anytime.
I know, it's so crazy, man. Maybe Anderson was into cuckolding. I don't know. But like,
hey, it is what it is, baby. No kink shame on this show. This is a kink-free.
No kink shame. No kink shame at all. But like,
no kink shame.
It was. I don't know, man. That was. But
I'll throw at you another one with Muhammad Ali. Also, he did the rap song where he was like the first rapper. He was saying, "I'm so mean I make medicine sick. I hospitalized a brick." And then you got compared to Conor McGregor, who's like, "I'll kill your family." That's not clever trash talk.
It used to be so good, man. It was so flat in that press conference as well. Dustin came out with the line of the press conference. McGregor, it's not McGregor fast, it's McGregor sleep. Oh my God, man. He was so happy about that. You could tell on his face. It was a killer line though, man. What a great line. And Conor had nothing to say to that, man. It was insane. Like, he had nothing. I think he came into this fight too angry, man, personally. Way too angry.
Trying really hard. It seemed like he was being a Conor McGregor impersonator. I think here's the weird thing, and I haven't thought about this very much. So this thought is still in its infancy. So give me a minute. In terms of, he really does listen to people. Yeah. People were saying, like, you weren't throwing enough kicks. You weren't mean enough coming into this fight. Even Nate Diaz said he wasn't mean enough. So he listened to all of that. It got in his head, and then he did what everyone told him to do rather than just kind of being genuine. He was clearly not being genuine. He was acting in a way, and we all kind of saw through it. It seemed uninteresting, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's turned into a caricature of himself, in all honesty, Tim.
Good. Yeah, that's really good.
He really has. And as I said before, Tim, I think I said this off air, it's basically Jack Nicholson, The Shining type of vibes now. Honestly, like, he's lost his damn mind. Like, it's, I could almost imagine him, in, the Conor and Oliveira press conference, him smashing his way in through the axe going, "Here's Conor." Like, you can imagine him doing shit like that, man. Like, just losing his mind, man. Yeah, it isn't clever anymore. It used to be some really witty one-liners, and even the way he set up his post-fight interviews, it was so epic. Like, I'm not gonna apologize to absolutely nobody. That kind of guy, like, just really witty.
Great.
It was just really, I mean, he rehearsed the lines, but I almost feel like he hasn't even practiced anything like that. I mean, it's clear that he used to rehearse in the mirror. I think he even stopped that, man. Like, it's just not good anymore.
Yeah, and one of my first articles I wrote earlier this year for the website, one of my earlier articles, I was talking about, because what people were saying is that he lost to Dustin Poirier because he wasn't mean enough. He wasn't trash talking in the press conference. And I wrote an article saying, like, it doesn't matter if you're mean in a press conference. It doesn't help you win a fight if the guy's a better fighter than you. And I actually wrote that his nice guy Conor has a better win ratio than mean guy Conor, because we saw nice guy Conor against, like, Eddie Alvarez, Donald Cerrone. I think
Eddie Alvarez. Oh no, he was not nice. That definitely weren't nice, Conor.
Oh, I wasn't. Okay, maybe Eddie Alvarez, but so Nate Diaz, like the second fight where they were a little bit.
Yeah, he was a bit more. He was a bit more cordial, a little bit more, because he got humbled so badly.
We saw Mean Guy McGregor in the first Diaz fight, which he lost. We saw him win Khabib and Floyd Mayweather. And of course, we saw him also against Mendez and Aldo and Poirier the first fight. So, I mean, Mean Guy McGregor does win sometimes. Mean Guy McGregor, we saw him in, like, the Floyd Mayweather, Khabib Nurmagomedov fight, the first Nate Diaz fight. Also, we've seen him in the first Poirier, Mendez, Aldo. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Whereas Nice Guy McGregor still does have a better win ratio. However, it's really, trash talking during a press conference doesn't matter if the opponent's better than you, right?
We've seen this before, man. Like, someone just trash talks. He's not even the same level. By the way, shout out to Juliana Pena, man, because she's gonna get smashed, man, 100%. Like that.
She talked her way into it.
She talked her way into it, man. She talked her way into it. So yeah, she needs some help. But anyway, I digress. I think with the whole Conor thing, man, maybe just be you, man, and it doesn't have to necessarily mean you can trash talk. You can just be normal, normal McGregor. I don't think he's got a medium, though. It's either super nice to the point where I know you're being a bit fake, because it was very cringe, man. Like, Dustin smashed him and he's like, "Oh, that's such a good leg kick. Oh, you did really well, man." Like, just praising him like his best friend. And in the third fight, you come out like he's your enemy. It just seemed very forced, man. Like, the narrative it's like he forced the narrative that wasn't there, if that makes sense. Is that what you got as well? That feeling?
And then he flipped the script to the exact other side. So both come off as disingenuous now, because just seriously, just if you're gonna do an act, make it fun, make it funny, like a chill.
I'll try your hot sauce, like Dustin. Oh, I'll try your hot sauce, Dustin. Oh, definitely. It's good, yeah, blah blah blah. And then in the third fight, did you try the hot sauce? And he goes, "No, that stuff is trash." I'm like, "But you didn't try it. You didn't try it, though. So how would you know it's trash?" It's ridiculous.
So now both are disingenuous. I don't know. It's tough to really get into the drama of this sport because there's so much vitriol. Like reading the comments sometimes on Instagram or reading them on Twitter makes you not want to do this sport anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's still people that are, got the narrative that, oh, look, Conor would have won that second round. I'm not gonna say that he has no chance, but the odds were stacked against him so well. And in all honesty, this is a dream result for him, in my opinion, Tim, because he didn't get a real loss, but he definitely probably would have got his ass kicked. And this saves him from a humiliation, in my opinion, in the second round.
Yeah, we can always go down the narrative, even if he never fights again or something like that. You can always have the narrative saying, well, if he got to the second round, blah, blah, blah. It does save face for him, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, onwards and upwards, Tim. Conor McGregor era is officially done. I think I'm done with him as a fan, man. I can't support this shit anymore. It's too much.
The badge has been turned in.
The badge has been turned in. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm a huge Dustin fan. I like Dustin. I find him a little bit boring, if I'm being honest. Like, even the stuff where he said, oh, you shouldn't talk about killing another man. I'm sorry, you're fighting in an octagon. Like, you could say, I'm going to kill you in the octagon. It's fine. I don't think there's a problem.
It's not clever. It's not clever or interesting, but you can certainly say it.
You could say, to say it about someone's wife, though, that's going way too far, especially after you lost, is just stupid. But yeah, I do feel like Khabib and Poirier, probably they're hammering on about that point a bit too much. Or you can't talk about murdering someone. I'm like, yes, you can. You're planning to murder someone in that octagon. You got the ref to stop it, but it's legalized murder. So I thought that was a little bit silly. But the rest of it, yeah, I agree, man. It's just stupid, man. You shouldn't be doing certain things like bringing wives into it and, before religion and all this other stuff. There's certain things that you don't say. But yeah, it's running out for Conor, man. It's done, man. End of the road.
Absolutely, and I do agree with you. There's kind of I don't know what the entire word is. It comes from professional wrestling where you drop the act once everything's done, right? Like you can trash talk guys going into the fight, but once the fight is done, your leg is in a splint. Dude, just drop it. Yeah. Just let it go here. Like you are done now. And after the fight, and martial arts, the reason that they have such a base in respect and honor is because the consequences of martial arts are quite deep. Like if you screw up martial arts, if you do martial arts correctly, you can seriously injure people. You can really you can change a person's life by being a good martial artist, right? You can kick them hard enough. You can break their bones hard enough. You have to show honor and respect once the fight is done because the consequences of the sport are big.
Yeah, of course. The thing is, Conor has never been disrespectful after a loss or a win. He normally is quite humble. So that was surprising to see. It was
the old term from 2016, the win or get better kind of thing?
So win or, you either win or I learn. And,
there you go.
One of the two. So you either win or you learn. And I don't think he's learned from this loss, man. He's making too many excuses. Even in the second fight, he was saying shit like, oh, I electrocuted Dustin in that second round. The first round of the second fight. I'm like, no, you didn't. You tagged him, but Dustin ate that like a Tic Tac. So what are you talking about? Electrocuted, man.
Oh, I know. It's just like you kind of missed some very vital things. If that's seriously what you think, you need to change training camps because know everyone around you is a yes man. If that's truly what you believe, he outstruck you, he controlled you on the ground, he got out of your submission attempt. What you need to do something. You need to change your career here. But yeah, it's tough to say that this is the cap on.
Get rid of Kavanaugh, man. I think you should get rid of Kavanaugh at this point. I was quite disappointed in the stuff he was saying. He goes, oh, nothing concerned me. I didn't really feel like it was a 10-8. Conor was going to do what in that second round. My mate, what are you talking about, man? I think he might be saying this for the media. I hope he is anyway.
And like you were throwing good kicks and they were definitely landing early. Dustin got the read on the timing and the distance like within 2 minutes. To say everything was going smoothly is simply false. I don't know how else to put it, right?
Exactly, man. And as you said, he looked like amazing. He looked like amazing Conor, like in 205 for the first 2 minutes. I actually thought he was going to put a performance like that. And Dustin read it and he thought, fuck you.
No, seriously. What else do we need to mention on this fight?
No,
there's so much vitriol around it. There's so much on the internet. Did we miss anything? Is there anything else you want to mention before we move on?
Look, I think the positive is we're gonna do a nice, chunky, meaty podcast for Oliveira versus Dustin for you guys. I don't know when that's going to be announced, but I'm excited for that, man. We've already watched tons of Dustin tape and Oliveira tape anyway, so this will just be a bit more fun, really. But yeah, I'm looking forward to breaking that down. When's the next UFC event? Actually, I don't even know when that is.
Oh, it's this Saturday, but literally no one is talking about it. Actually,
what event is it? I'm so baffed.
The Makachev one.
Oh, that's not too bad. I might watch that, man. I could watch that.
Makachev, Moises, Marion Renault, Misha Tate,
Nice.
the comeback fight, and Gamrot and Jeremy Stevens. There's 3 pretty good fights actually, but yeah, we'll skip over this one. That's absolutely fine. But
I think the next podcast we'll do for you guys is probably Don vs. Lewis. What do you think?
I'm sure our talk will be more
You're like,
interesting.
nah, I don't know.
No, yeah. Well, actually, so Gon is one of your boys. He's your favorite. You've picked him since he is like first fight in the UFC. You said this guy's a future champion, so it'll be fun to talk about his progress and what the future holds for such a talented young man. But yeah, that'll be a fun one to talk about. Absolutely. We can come back on the podcast maybe next week. Maybe we'll have some other subject, talk about GOAT comparison or something like that. I don't know.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll do something fun like that. UFC 264. We had a few other fights on the card. Ugly fight between Gilbert Burns and Stephen Thompson. That's what you got to do to beat Stephen Thompson. You got to make it ugly.
You can't blame Burns for that victory, man. I mean, he had to do what he had to do. I don't think it was as boring as people make out, man. I think people are just bitching about it too much. I thought it was a good fight.
No, I like Stephen Thompson. I like his style a lot. Tied to Ivasa versus Greg Hardy with a couple of heavyweight.
That was hilarious.
Fights.
Mate, you know what we said? We don't really care about this fight. Mate, I think I care about all the Tied to Ivasa's fights now, man. Every single one. Like, that guy is hilarious, man. Jesus.
Tied to Ivasa is great. He's a party, isn't he? He's just like comes in, knocks you out. Spice Girls drinking that beer out of shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, killing their stuff. Irene Aldana versus Yana Kudskaya. Really good, crisp. This is what we talked about with really follow the fundamentals. Just a really nice check hook, lead check hook. Dude, that puts people down. Use that as much as you can. Sean O'Malley versus Chris Moutinho. What are your thoughts on the stoppage in this fight?
Oh, man. It was basically like the American Zombie versus Conor McGregor versus 2.0. But I don't know. Like, I thought Sean looked very, very good, man. He looked amazing in that fight. Just as I thought he would. He'd win. But I was actually more impressed with Chris, man. Like, the amount of damage he can take. He's very tough. He just needs to clean up his striking, man. That's my biggest suggestion for him, because he could take a fucking shot, man, and that's a huge advantage as a fighter. So if he cleans up his striking, never know, man. We could see a contender in the future from him, but I just don't see it right now. Like, there's a lot of holes he's got to work on.
Yeah, he's tough as nails, and he did a couple of things well,
man, in the bantamweight division. I swear to God.
230 strikes were landed in this fight, tying the Nate Diaz 3-round record against Donald Cerrone from several years ago. But Chris Moutinho stuff his nails. Not much. He did show a couple of things that you can use against Sean O'Malley in the future, and I think we also learned it in the Cheeto Vera fight. He actually landed a lot of leg kicks for a guy. Oh my God! No,
I thought he was trying to go for a TKO leg stoppage, because he actually, I think he hurt Sean O'Malley's leg a little bit, man. He did hurt him a little bit.
You might be right.
Yeah, he definitely put some damage on it, and he managed to land some shots, man, up top as well. But generally, man, O'Malley showed his class, and he was so accurate, man. I think it was like 82% accuracy at one point. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's just insane. Yeah, like Sean O'Malley showed really good accuracy.
Did you see that opening sequence I sent you? I think there was it was the opening sequence that stopped the fight. Oh my God, man. It was like 15 punches in about 3 seconds, man. It was so quick.
It was so obvious that it was over, but I don't want to go against the MMA hive mind, which is complaining about this stoppage. However, what did you think of the stoppage?
No, people are stupid. People are fucking stupid. You know what? If you're going to come at me and say, oh, no, they should have started, it should have gone on for another minute and a half. You are ridiculous, man. It's like, are you a Just Bleed fan? Like, do you just want to see people die? Like, what's going on? So I'm glad that Herb Dean did it. I mean, let's face it, he wasn't going to win that fight. And that he was taking just unbelievable punishment, man. So very good stoppage. Rogan saying, I'm very disappointed in Herb. He needs to shut his mouth, because that was a very good stoppage, man. That stops from someone from getting long-term damage.
And I co-sign with you as well. When it's this obvious, you could see that O'Malley was kind of picking up pace to finish it.
Yeah.
And he's already taken 200 punches. If you stop this at the end of the first round or the end of the second round, I would not have complained about it because it was so clearly lopsided. It was an unfair fight from the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people, what they're saying is, like you said, why not just let him finish? He had like 30 seconds left.
So silly. The corner should have thrown the towel in before that, in my opinion. I mean,
no, absolutely. I agree with you.
It's like, your guy is not going to win. He's probably going to get fight of the night honors anyway, and he's going to get another fight. Just throw the damn towel in, man. It's done. It's over.
And then what did O'Malley do? He turned around and showed respect to his opponent, didn't he? He went, hey, this guy's tough as nails.
This guy's a tough motherfucker, man. Like, honestly, I think O'Malley needs some more fights, though, before going into that upper echelon of the elite top 5. I think Yoon would beat the shit out of him right now. I think, Rob Font will beat the shit out of him right now. I think Rafael Assunção might actually beat Sean O'Malley even, and he's older as well. So he needs a few tune-up fights, in my opinion. I think the Cheeto rematch should go ahead. That should be the next thing.
The Cheeto rematch, that's fair. They're at about the same point in their career. I've also seen Dominick Cruz's name thrown around a lot in terms of, and also Assunção. Either one is absolutely fine. I think those are fair fights for him. He does have a lot to work on and get better, but the things that he's good at is very good. It's a matter of applying it in places where you're uncomfortable, right? When your legs are getting kicked and you're getting pressured, he did seem to struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
So you need to know how to apply your best offense, even when you are not in a position that you're happy about, right?
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like he's very technical, very crisp, but when it comes to the fire, when it comes to a 5-round fight where, you're going to get hurt and you're going to get tagged, you're going to run out of oxygen towards the end. Yeah, that's when I think that he could potentially break. And it's not something he's had to do, very often, go into deep waters. Like that Chris Moutinho fight, you could tell he was slowing. I mean, he wasn't slowing down, but had that gone another 2 rounds, maybe Moutinho might have had some late success, man. And someone like Yoon, man, you don't want Yoon to start teeing off you in the 5th round, man. Look what he did to Aldo.
Yeah, Petr Yan is an absolute. He's so cool. He's such an efficient striker too. Like, he doesn't throw very much, but everything that he throws is so effective that he's almost scored a knockdown on every strike he lands.
Undefeated on Twitter as well, man. Undefeated.
Is that him? That's him. No,
that's him, man. He's making all these.
So witty.
He's so funny, man. I'm telling you, I can't wait till he learns English properly, because I didn't even like him before the Aljo fight. I was like, I don't really like Petr Yan that much. And then after that, I was like, wow, this guy, I can't not root for him, man. Like, how could you not?
He is cold as ice. Do you remember when Uriah Faber, they were in like a place together, and Uriah waved to his daughter, and he's like, hey, don't worry, baby, I'm okay. And then Petr Yan also waved to Uriah Faber's daughter and then knocked out Uriah Faber a second later.
I remember this.
He's a cool guy.
Oh, good, man. He's so funny, man. And he definitely likes to use the mind games, man, as well.
Cold as ice, man. He's cool as hell. But yeah, I would love to see more from him. That division is cooking up. Of course, one of the fights coming up later on is Sandhagen versus Dillashaw, and that's a banger, man. Right there.
That's gonna be a great fight, man. I actually think I got Corey in this, man. That's fair. Yeah, they've trained together. Corey is very long and rangy. I actually think he's going to have a game plan to beat TJ. If TJ somehow beats Corey off after, 2 or 3 year layoff, man, props to him, man. He's definitely goated and definitely deserves a title shot.
Yeah, Dillashaw is one of the most talented strikers in MMA history, and he's got knocked out recently by Henry Cejudo in his last fight, and then he took some time off to nurse his steroid wounds. But yes, Sandhagen's been active, and Sandhagen has looked really, really good. I know that he had the quick loss to Alt. I don't know. That's it. You know what? We'll save that one. That's a real good one. I'm excited for that. Anything else we need to cover off before we?
Oh no, man. I'm just simply looking forward to the next chapter, man. Next big title fight. Next real big title fight. It's just an interim title next, but still looking forward to. Oh, sorry, Amanda Nunes is going to mold the shit out of Juliana Pena. What am I talking about? So that's probably next. But yeah, looking forward to the next one, man.
Good stuff. Let's get out of here. So where can we find us? Where send the plug out. If you want more of Calf Kick Sports, where
Hey,
can we find more?
yeah, follow us at Calf Kick Sports on Instagram, and we're also on YouTube as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. Yeah, we're putting out a little bit more content over summer, a little bit of a break, but you know, we've got some interviews, we've got some exciting stuff coming up. Yeah, stay tuned, guys.
Definitely. Yeah. Thanks for watching, folks. Cheers.